Hi, I'm Brian English, forum name Hyperbytes, and I'm going to continue the series that I started regarding using the security provider, using the in clause, and how to restrict visibility of components within your page in App Connect level based on the roles that the individual is logged in on. So let's just have a look at where we were. We had a page which just showed sculptor, artist, and photographer based on a condition, and each of those rows are conditional regions. And if we remind ourselves what that conditions were, we're just simply using contains to be able to do that. So now we need to change that to deal with multiple roles being returned by the security provider, because in this unit we're going to be looking at how to do this if you're using the two table model. So we're going to our multi-security permission security provider that we set up. Going to user conditions. You'll see that I have just amended this now. So we've got our usual user tables, but we're linking it to the role table. So we've got a join there based on the identity column, and you can see there we still have the in clauses to say artist can be an artist. Artist is accessible by artists and managers, sculptors, sculptor and manager, photographers, photographer and manager, and of course manager, manager only. So we've got two table approach there. So therefore we are going to be able to return one or more rules for each individual. We had a multi-layout page. Multi-layout page simply calls the get roles AP action, and if I go to get roles AP action, then we'll see that we had a single query and we were querying the user table. Well, we need to change that slightly. We need to now query the role table, but still based on the, what am I doing? Just remove that. So you want to select the role, and the condition will be that the ID must be equal to the security identity. So querying the ID field, the user ID field within the role table, and we're going to return our records. And also we need to make sure that is a multi-record API action. So I'll save that. I think I've done everything I need to do. If I now just go back into sculptor page, suddenly it doesn't work anymore. I'm logged in as a sculptor at the moment because that contains clause is now not going to work, because we're returning, instead of a object, we're returning an array of objects. And if I go into the developer console and I just refresh that, look at get roles, you'll see there we are, we're returning in this case two roles, because I put this particular individual into the role of both a sculptor and an artist. Arguably a sculptor is an artist. So how we're going to deal with that at the front end, because that's obviously the problem now. We were using the contains operator, and the contains operator under these circumstances won't work. And it's actually quite simple. So we got now a situation where our API action is returning one or more values, and we want to see if any of those values within that list or that array of objects is contained in another list, because we want to be able to say administrator, sorry, artist or manager. And it's actually surprisingly easy to do. Just going to check here. I'm at the moment in sculptor's the middle one, so let's go into there. What's the condition then? Let's remove that. Right, I'm going to take that out and put that back in, so we start afresh. So what's the condition? We're going to have to say that the role that's returned, sorry, the query, sorry, that's returned, then I'm going to go into the wand here, I would like to go into the one there, but it doesn't want to play. Let's just try this again. Server connect, data query. One, that's better. And now I'm going to use a where clause. So I'm going to say conditionally where. And the property we're going to be working on is that array of objects that's returned from the server connect. The value we're going to be looking for, and what we're going to do is we're going to give it another array. And this time it's going to be the array of the objects or the permissions that the person has to be in for this conditional to be visible. So we're going to say, in this case, you've got to either be a manager or a sculptor. So you see, because we're dealing with an array, we've used square brackets. We put our values within quotes, manager and sculptor. Didn't mean to do that. Filter type is going to be, and we're going to use inArray. So what we're effectively saying is if any of the entries within the role are in the array that we've offered in that value field, then it will return the number of matches in which that occurs. So if we have somebody who's got permissions of manager and sculptor, then that would return 2. If they were just a manager, it'll return 1. And of course, most importantly, if none of the values match, it will return 0, which we can then treat as a Boolean false as well. So select that. I'm now going to go to code because I want to show you that the picker actually gets it wrong. It puts those delimiters in, and the reason it's delimited to put them in is because it's quoted the whole array. So I'm going to just manual edit, as you saw that, and if we save that now, sorry, we need to just tag on there. We don't want is empty. I'll just do this manually. We actually want to return the count. So if I save that now, fingers crossed, if I fire that up, we'll actually see the sculptor conditional region displayed. So go in here, I'm going to see it, and sure enough, there's our sculptor displayed. I'm just going to go now, and I'm just going to be lazy here. I'm going to just do some cut and pasting. I'm going to just replace those old conditions with the new one. This one should be the photographer. That one's got a problem there because we're missing a quote. So, and this one should be an artist. So we've amended those to say that the artist conditional page will be shown if it's a manager or an artist. Likewise, manager and sculptor, and lastly, photographer will be a manager or photographer. Save that. Now, if we refresh this, what we should see is that the artist appears, the sculptor appears, but the photographer won't appear because their permissions are not returned. Didn't happen. Let's have a look and see why. Photographer P, sculptor, artist. I've got a double dot there. There we are. We see that's working correctly. So that's how to deal with a array of objects that's returned within a multiple record query, and how to look at whether there's a value in that in a list that you provide at App Connect, which of course we've used in our conditional region to show that whether that person's authorized to see a particular conditional region or not. So thanks for joining me. I hope that's been helpful, and hope to see you next time.